Our second guest today, another former BYU player, BYU quarterback, and you know what? Let's just go ahead and call him our BYU Sports Nation offensive football analyst, along with Blaine Fowler, but he put himself there. Riley Nelson, welcome back to BYU Sports Nation.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Can you believe it? We can actually talk about actual gameplay and not speculation and practice. That's fun.
You're telling us, man. It's all year, man. We had a fun little conversation on Twitter while you were in Spain last week. You mentioned, hey, where's the game? Because you were visiting Spain. We gave you the digits. Did you end up going to the game while BYU was in Spain?
As most married men can attest to, you lose 90% of the arguments that you get into. So he said, my wife goes, what are you doing on your phone? I said, BYU basketball team's playing up, and where they were playing was cool. It's actually by Camp Nou. It's a real cool facility where Barcelona football plays. And I said, let's go catch the game tonight. She says, I'm not spending my last evening in Europe going to a basketball game that we can go to when we're at home. So I lost out on that. But I was glad to see they won.
Pick your battles. That's wise. Yeah.
Exactly. If I would have gone, she probably would have made me take her back to Europe a lot sooner. But she got to end the trip the way she wanted. So hopefully that buys me a few more years without having to pay for those airline tickets again.
Okay. Yeah. See, this is long-term projecting here. I like what you're thinking. Well, let's project about the BYU offense now, Riley. Our Twitter question today is, what do you expect the BYU offense to produce specifically against Nebraska? What are your thoughts?
So I see, with it being the first game, and with Taysom being back and them being relatively healthy, I'd say conservatively high 20s, low 30s, which, I picked the Cougs of winning this game. I think, with Mike Riley coming in, being a new coach, and the rocky spring that they had, and you don't hear a ton of optimism coming out of their fall camp. Even with the questions that our defense has to answer after their performance last year, I see that, we'll say 28 to 30 points being enough to get it done for the Cougs on Saturday.
Having a senior quarterback matters. You experienced this against Washington State as the starter. What kind of difference does that make, having a senior QB at the helm?
Well, especially in that first game, it's not a first game for him, and everyone else can feed off that. They can feed off that experience, that composure, and really be able to treat that like any other game. Even though everyone is so excited for it being the beginning of the season and on TV and in front of big crowds, so it helps from a composure standpoint. Now, the talent and execution has to be there, and that's the question that is unanswered. But the composure and leadership from a senior quarterback can kind of lessen that learning curve and keep things a little bit more level than being sporadic as you're working out the kinks, as young guys are learning, coming up to speed in the gameplay, and you're gelling together as an offense when facing live action.
How long did it take you to really settle in that first game against Washington State your senior year? What was it in the first quarter? Did it come after halftime? When was that?
No, it was within the first quarter. After a drive or two, it really was the same as it was for every game. You go out and you want to see about 2 drives to make sure that they're running everything. Probably in the first game, 3 drives. Make sure that they're running all the schemes and you're seeing the same alignments and same formations that you studied on film, right? I know that BYU's been watching some Oregon State film. We'll see, with it being the defensive coordinator coming over, they're going to run a base cover 4, cover 2 package, do a little bit of combo, man up on the outside, one-on-one on the outside, combo the middle. And so, it only takes a few series. I think Taysom, it'll be all right. We've studied some Oregon State film. We've studied some Nebraska personnel from last year. Go out, confirm all of your thoughts coming into the game. And once those are confirmed, you just, relax and play.
Without Jamal Williams, how does that change the playbook, in your opinion, for BYU, if at all?
It just really hurts. Well, I shouldn't say hurts, but we need to prove depth at that running back position, because I think both internally and externally from the players, coaches, and even fans, we want all of Taysom's running attempts to be wide open space. He's creating plays. He's extending plays and not having to line up on a 3rd and 4 and go get 5 yards to get a first down running football, right? So without Jamal there, it's just one less proven player, and it means one more unproven player has to step up. So it remains to be seen how much of an effect that will have on the offensive production, but it's hard to call at this point.
Riley Nelson with us on BYU Sports Nation. Former BYU quarterback, beat Washington State in his senior opener 30-6. Riley, when we look at this BYU offense and the dynamic that was set up last year by Bronco Mendenhall, kind of saying, look, in Taysom we trust. We hope the defense is good enough, but we feel like we can win every game because we have Taysom Hill. Do you feel like that dynamic has changed at all from last year to this year, and that it is all kind of riding on Taysom Hill?
I don't believe it's changed much. I mean, I think Taysom's obviously not only our best player, but he's one of the best players across the country, and you do that. Now, what you hope, here's what I'm anxious to see from the defense perspective. Yeah, we do have a lot of guys returning, but it's a lot of guys returning from a defense that had significant troubles last year. And so you hope that experience can make up for a lot, being that a lot of those guys having those troubles were, freshmen, redshirt freshmen, and sophomores. You hope that year of experience can help. But at the same time, in the back of your mind, it's a worry that it's like, okay, these are the same players that got smoked. Was last year just who they are, or, is there room to get better? So until the defense can kind of prove a greater contributing role, both from limiting other offenses and then creating havoc and turnovers and things that way, it's got to be in Taysom we trust, and we hope that the defense can improve along. And so that, Taysom's contributions become, rather than becoming vital and necessary, can become, like frosting on the cake, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and when you look at the defense, like you said, there's some unknowns there. I think people trust that Bronco Mendenhall will steer the ship in the right direction and hopefully get those guys playing better than they would. But offensively, in your opinion, Riley, what do we know about the BYU offense, whether that be schemes or people?
So we know that great. I'll go in that order. Great order sitting up. As far as schemes, they're going to run a ton of plays, and whenever you're running a ton of plays, the reason why everyone went to up-tempo offenses was, it put some pressure on a defense, but it was simple math. The more plays you run, the more opportunities you give yourself to score. So maintaining the up-tempo offense will still be able to have games rattle off 40, 50 and be able to roll teams. Now, the other thing is that it can also put a lot of pressure on your defense because you can, get some quick series. Your 3 and outs are 40 seconds long, right? But we know that. We have a proven player in Taysom Hill. We have a proven player in Mitch Matthews. He's got to show a little bit more composure to me, but Tejan Karoma is a proven leader of the offensive line, although I'd like to see a little bit more maturity and consistency out of him. And you know what you're getting in AUG Brown. It's obviously a different type of player than you were getting from Jamal Williams, but it's nice to go through each of those position groups and have at least a proven or somewhat proven commodity as leader. When you have that kind of leadership and an established foundation, then your expectations don't vary as much.
Former BYU quarterback Riley Nelson bringing it on Monday on BYU Sports Nation. Riley, first of all, I'm glad you made it back from Spain. And two, it's great to talk football with you. Let's do it again soon.
Fantastic. Will do. Thanks for having me on, guys.
You got it, man.